Corporation.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dilini Gunawardena, assisted by Sanjay, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President notes that a new legal framework will be introduced for a modern economy. The International Women's Day will be celebrated on the 8th of March. The Global Climate Promise Exchange Workshop commences in Colombo. Attention is paid regarding the concept of Blue Flag Beach. 2 are arrested with smuggled gold at the Katunayake airport. Foreign news, the US urges more aid for starving Gazans. And in sports, Pathum Nissanka is nominated for ICC Men's Player of the Month award for February. President Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed that over the past 14 months, the Parliament has enacted 42 new laws to facilitate the country's economic transformation. Furthermore, the President highlighted the necessity of passing additional 62 laws through Parliament. He underscored that if this cannot be achieved in the current parliamentary session, the bills will be reintroduced in the subsequent session for approval. The President made these remarks during his keynote address at the What's New dialogue on legal reforms with young legal professionals. The What's New project by the Presidential Secretariat under the guidance of President to recognize the need for new legal reforms and the importance of views of the youth and the new generation was held yesterday at the BMICH. Additionally, the President launched the What's New website, which was initiated by a group of young lawyers as a social media tool for youth to present suggestions and ideas for the legal renaissance that is essential for Sri Lanka to become a developed country by the year 2048. This year's International Women's Day will be celebrated on the 8th of March under the global theme of Inspire Inclusion, which highlights the importance of valuing and empowering women in order to improve inclusion as strengthening women's economic empowerment by recruiting, retaining and developing female talent throughout the world. Attending a press briefing held today, Minister Geeta Kumarsinghe said that the national celebration of this event will be held under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Water's Edge, Bathramulla. The Liya Shakti 2024 fair will be held on the 7th and 8th of March at the Diyatha Uyana premises in Bathramulla in line with this celebration. Minister Kumarsinghe said that a number of measures have been taken to assure protection of women. The Act of Women Empowering, the Independent Commission on Women and Protection Centres for Women are some of them. 16 countries from Africa, Europe and Central Asia, Africa and Arab state regions have gathered in Colombo for a global exchange workshop on climate action. The gathering began today and will last until the 7th of March. The aim of this workshop is for countries to share best practices, celebrate achievements and explore lessons learned from their work. With the support of the Government of Japan, the United Nations Development Programme has assisted developing countries in translating their national climate pledges into tangible actions since 2021. The funding is implemented through the UNDP's flagship initiative, Climate Promise. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sectoral Oversight Committee on Environment, Natural Resources and Sustainable Development, which met under the chairmanship of MP Ajith Manapperuma recently, took into discussion the concept of Blue Flag Beach, which aims to prepare the nation's coast to attract tourists. The committee chair pointed out that tourists are more attracted to beaches that have received the Blue Flag Beach Quality Certificate. It was stated that it is because these beaches are safer and higher in quality. However, the chair also pointed out that attention of all concerned parties should be paid to the lack of quality development of the beaches in Sri Lanka to obtain the Blue Flag Beach Certificate. Officials represented the Minister of Urban Development and Housing, Minister of Tourism and Lands, Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Department of Coastal Conservation and Coastal Resource Management, Maritime Environment Protection Authority and Sri Lanka Ports Authority were present at this committee meeting held. Sri Lanka Customs has apprehended 2 suspects, including an employee of the Airport and Aviation Services, for attempting to smuggle 9 kilograms of undeclared gold into the country near the departure terminal of the Bandaranaike International Airport this morning. Sri Lanka Customs said the stock of seized gold consisted of gold cards with the appearance of credit cards, gold in gel form, and also gold jewellery. According to Sri Lanka Customs, the gold taken into custody is estimated to be worth nearly 200 million rupees. The Narcotics Control Unit of Sri Lanka Customs is conducting further investigations regarding the suspects. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
8 Sri Lankan nationals were detained at an illegal cyber slave camp in Myanmar, which is part of human trafficking racket, have been rescued. The Sri Lankan ambassador to Myanmar, Janaka Bandara, said that the Myanmar Home Affairs Ministry has officially confirmed the rescue of the 8 Sri Lankans. He stated that the group includes 6 males and 2 females. The ambassador added that Sri Lankan Mission, the Foreign Affairs Ministry and relevant authorities will work towards the safe return of the rescued Sri Lankans. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, in coordination with the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Myanmar, has been engaged in efforts to rescue and repatriate around 56 Sri Lankans who became victims of human trafficking and were trapped in Myanmar. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
On to Watchlight this evening. The Department of Meteorology warned the heat index, the temperature felt on human body, is expected to increase up to caution level at some places in the western, southern provinces and in the Ratnapura district. The heat index is expected to increase up to 39 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius in some parts of the country. Accordingly, the public is advised to stay hydrated and to refrain from exposure to direct sunlight. And that was Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. The US urges more aid for starving Gazans. Gangs threaten Haiti takeover after mass jailbreak. And Nikki Haley beats Donald Trump in Washington. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris says people in Gaza are starving and has urged Israel to significantly increase the flow of aid there. She said there must be an immediate ceasefire for at least the next 6 weeks, which would get the Israeli hostages out. Earlier, Israel did not attend truce talks in Egypt, saying Hamas was not giving a list of hostages still alive. The Hamas told the BBC it was unable to do so because of the Israeli bombing. Hamas's team and mediators from the US and Qatar are understood to be in Egypt's capital Cairo for the planned negotiations. The government of Haiti declared a 72-hour state of emergency on Sunday after armed gangs stormed in major Port-au-Prince prison. At least 12 people were killed and about 3,700 inmates escaped in the jailbreak. Gang leaders say they want to force the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who had travelled abroad. The groups aiming to oust him control around 80% of Port-au-Prince. Violent gangs have been killed thousands in the country since 2020. Nikki Haley has defeated Donald Trump in the Republican primary in Washington. This is her first victory over the former president in the 2024 campaign to become the Republican presidential candidate. She is the first woman to win Republican primary in U.S. history. Mr. Trump, however, has a huge lead over Ms. Haley and is likely to face Joe Biden in the November election. CBS reports that Ms. Haley will receive all 19 Republican delegates who are up for grabs in Washington, D.C., giving her 43 delegates nationwide, well behind Mr. Trump's 247. Back to the headlines of the world news. The U.S. urges more aid for starving Gazans. Gangs threaten Haiti takeover after mass jailbreak, and Nikki Haley beats Donald Trump in Washington. And that ends World News.
Development News.
For the second month in succession, Sri Lanka tourism passed the 200,000 arrival mark in February 2024, recording 218,350 tourists. This is a record 102.8% increase against 2023 February, while in January 2024, Sri Lanka saw 208,253 visitors, which is also over 100% increase against the 2023 January, which was 102,545. The Russian Federation was a top source destination, accounting for 15% of the total market, while India was the second. The United Kingdom, Germany and China followed. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
3 top-order batters from India, Sri Lanka and New Zealand have been shortlisted for the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for February 2024. Pathum Nissanka has been nominated for the title. He is a top contender for the ICC Men's Player of the Month for February 2024 after he slammed the first ever double century in ODIs by a Sri Lankan. The 25-year-old blasted 210 not out of just 139 balls against Afghanistan in Pallekele and then went on to end the series with another terrific 100. Nissanka beat Sanath Jayasuriya's 24-year-old record for the highest score by a Sri Lankan in ODIs. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීර හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Towards inspiring and fostering the next generation of entrepreneurs through knowledge, experience and insights, Amana Bank has once again partnered with Entry Minds, organized by the UTO Edu Consultant for its 3rd season. Through this partnership, Amana Bank reaffirms its dedication to encouraging the spirit of entrepreneurship from a young age and supporting innovative ventures that drive economic growth. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීර හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. At the Parliament's Business Committee meeting chaired by Speaker Mahinda Abhiwardena, a decision was taken to summon the Central Bank officials to the party leaders' meeting on the 5th of March. Legislators have questioned steep salary hikes to the Central Bank officials. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Kaltara, Ratnapura and Madra districts in the evening or night. Mainly dry weather will prevail elsewhere in the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western and Sabaragama provinces during the morning. Well, that was the weather report, and prior to concluding this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President notes that a new legal framework will be introduced for a modern economy. The International Women's Day will be celebrated on the 8th of March. The Global Climate Promise Exchange Workshop commences in Colombo. Attention is paid regarding the concept of Blue Flag Beach. 2 are arrested with smuggled gold at the Katunaika airport. Foreign news, the US urges more aid for starving Gazans. And in sports, Pathum Nissanka is nominated for the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for February. Well, with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and handing over the microphone back to Mariela Vendot on the other side to continue with the rest of the programs. Over to you, Mariela.
Thank you, Geethanjali. That was Geethanjali Ramanaika bringing you the main news broadcast right here from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Wishing you nothing but the best and have a safe journey back home. The time moves on to 29 minutes past 6. This is Radio Sri Lanka. In a few moments, we will be bringing to you the live commentaries of the Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh match which is taking place. So do stay tuned.